Hello, good day. Are you a parent and do you have a child who will be writing the forthcoming UTME Unified Tertiary Matriculation examination? Then I must assure you that this is the most useful video you will come across on the internet today. So I will enjoy you to pay close attention and you should pick a pen and a paper and jot things down because you are going to tell some of these things to your child so that on the day of their exam they will be able to achieve success. So in this video I will be discussing some tips with you that are going to help your child on the day of their exam. Note, not before the exam, but on the day of the exam, on the D-Day that they are going to write their exam. And the reason that this is very important is that most UTME candidates, they sacrifice their time, they burn night oil, and they put in a lot of efforts before the exam, and when the day of the exam eventually comes, they blow everything up, they make silly mistakes, and they make mistakes that could have been avoided, and it would eventually cost them success in the exam. So if you are armed with these tips and you can talk to your child about them before their exam, then you should be rest assured that they are not going to fall into the category of the candidates who make efforts and then blow up everything on the exam day. The first tip I'm going to be sharing with you is panic. Your child should not panic. Yeah, people say UTME is hard, the exam is difficult, it is difficult to pass, the questions are not O-level questions and stuff, and your child must have been hearing all of these things, and it's aside the normal examination anxiety, this could also add to it, and your child could end up panicking on the day of their exam, and this will not in any way help them because in fact it means that they are already failing even before they start writing the exam. So you should ensure to tell your child not to panic. It's an exam and they must have prepared for it, so they should just be calm and they should be at their examination venue while they are at their calmest state, and they should write the exam still in their calmest state, and they should not for once panic throughout the exam. The second tip that I'm going to be sharing with you is that you should tell your child to not be late to the exam venue. We all know that the venue sometimes could be a bit far from the place of residence of the candidate. For instance, when I wrote UTME years back, my venue was about 4 minutes drive from the place I was staying then, and I had to work on it because my exam was scheduled for 7 a.m. and I knew that it would not be wise to travel on that day for the exam since it was going to take about 40 minutes drive. Fortunately, my grandfather lived in the place where my exam was scheduled, so I traveled to his place a day before, and then from there it was just about 5 minutes drive to the exam venue. So I was able to make it there on time, and I was almost surprised because by the time I got there I met a lot of candidates and I wondered if they slept through the night. So it means that you should work on your child getting to their exam venue on time. They should not be late because we all know the implication. If your exam is scheduled for 7 a.m. and you get there by 8 a.m., you may not be opportune to write the exam again. So why then have you studied for the exam? Why have you studied for something you don't even get to give a try? So ensure that your child gets to their venue on time. Then the next point I'll be discussing is smartphones, calculators, and other gadgets. Some candidates usually make the mistake of going to the examination venue with their smartphones, their calculators, and some even go as far as going to the examination venue with portable speakers, and you would wonder if they knew what they were doing in the first place, because you are not going to have a need for such. So, and JAMB is not going to allow you to walk into the hall with such. So except if you are going to accompany your child to the examination venue, which is highly encouraged, then you should not allow them to go with any gadget. Yeah, there are business vendors there at the venues, at different venues, where your child can keep their gadgets for tokens as low as 200 naira or 300 naira. But you and I know that if your child keeps their phone, which is worth 100,000 naira, with a total stranger which they are meeting for the first time in their life, this will definitely affect their concentration in the exam, because this person can go away with the phone and then they have lost it. So it goes a long way in affecting their concentration negatively in the exam. So it is best that you ensure that your child does not go to the exam venue with smartphones or calculators. There are on-screen calculators for subjects that involve calculations, so they don't need to go with calculators, except if you are going to accompany them to the venue, which is highly encouraged, like I said earlier, and then you can keep their gadgets for them. Then the next item is computer problems and technical errors. We all know that computers, this exam is CBT, it is computer based, and we all know that computers do malfunction. So you should tell your child that if this happens to them on the day of the exam, if their computers malfunction, they should not make the mistake that many candidates make, which is trying to resolve the problem on their own. No, the problem is not meant for you to resolve on your own. All you have to do is raise your hand up, then talk to one of the call the attention of the computer experts in the room and relate the problem with them. They will find a solution to it, and if you need to be taken to another computer, they will also do that. But if they are trying to rectify the problem on their own, they may end up causing bigger problems, and the computer experts may blame them for that, and the problem may not be rectified, and it will affect them negatively in the exam. The next item you should discuss with your child to ensure on the day of their exam is that they don't get themselves involved in examination malpractice. JAMB has put in a lot of effort to ensure that even if candidates try, they cannot be able to commit examination malpractice in our exam, because each candidate has different questions, even if they are in the same departments, or they have questions that are arranged in different orders, even if they are the same. So there's no point in a candidate side talking, engaging him or herself in side talking or giraffing or doing any of such, because it will not help them, and it will only make them to lose concentration. So tell your child to not involve in any form of examination malpractice, as this will not in any way help them on the day of their exam, and they should not pay anyone to tell them number 1 A, number 2 B, number 3 C, because this person does not even know your child's question. So I call this the easiest way to fail the exam. So they should not involve themselves in such. Then the next tip is the order of answering questions. We all know that use of English comes first on your computer screen. But the mistake that many candidates make is trying to answer use of English before any other subject just because it comes first. Tell your child that they don't need to answer use of English because it comes first, except if that is their best subject, because we all expect that they start with their best subject, and that gives them the momentum to proceed to the most difficult ones for them. So they don't have to start with use of English. They can start with any subject of their choice, and they don't also have to answer the questions as in the manner in which they are arranged. You don't have to answer number 1, number 2, number 3. No, if they find number 2 difficult, they can move to number 3, and they can come back to answering number 2 later. So that is also why they should familiarize themselves with the use of the computer, so that they can be very confident in doing this on the day of their exam. The next tip that will also help your child on the day of their exam, which happens to be the 7th tip, is that speed matters. Speed definitely matters. Now I'll explain to you why it does. There are 180 questions in total, and there are 4 subjects, and the time allocated for this exam is just 2 hours. 180 questions in 2 hours. It means that a candidate does not have up to a minute to answer one question. A candidate does not have up to a minute to answer one question. A candidate only has 40 seconds to answer one question, even if that candidate is writing mathematics, physics, chemistry, accounting, or any other subject. They only have 40 seconds. So tell me, why does speed not matter? It definitely does, and your child should ensure this. Yeah, it doesn't mean that they should write the exam without thinking deeply before they pick their answers, or without ensuring that they are doing the right thing when they are picking their answers, but they should also ensure to work with speed. The Yorubas have a saying that "Bí a ṣe ń kọ́ṣẹ́ ni à ń kọ́ yàrá, bí a ṣe ń kọ́ṣẹ́ ni à ń kọ́ yàrá." This proverb will be very invaluable to them on the day of their exam. So now they have 40 seconds for each question. You should tell your child to ensure that he or she spends not more than 30 seconds on every question. 30 seconds on every question, and the remaining 10 seconds should be reserved for coming back to answer questions that they must have found difficult, which they skipped, and to also make a quick check to go through their answers once again. They shouldn't spend up to 40 seconds on one question, even if they have up to that, because it will not do them any good. So they should ensure to work with speed. Another tip that will help your child on the day of their exam is that you should tell them to not rush into picking answers. Earlier I said speed matters, and now I'm telling you that they shouldn't rush into picking answers. The two are kind of countering each other, but technically they are not. So they could still work with speed without rushing to pick answers. What this means is that when a candidate comes across a question and they feel like, oh, this question is simple, this is the answer, it's definitely B or it's definitely D. In most cases, the answer may not be B or D. The answer may be A or C. And that is why it is very, very easy to fail multiple choice questions. It is very, very easy to fail multiple choice questions because we don't mark steps here, we mark answers. So they should not rush into picking answers, most especially English, use of English. It is very, very easy to fail because you just keep smiling out, wow, it's simple, and then you just fail. So they should not rush into picking answers. And then the last tip that I'm going to be discussing with you, which is going to also help your child in achieving success in their exam, is that they should listen to, read and follow instructions. They should listen to the instructions from the invigilators, which will mostly be concerning the use of their computers and every other technical one. While they should read the instructions that they have on their computers for all the subjects and for individual subjects and for sections of each subject, just like we may have in English language. For instance, if a section of the exam is discussing synonyms and your child does not did not fully go through the instructions, they might have thought that they are asking them for the antonyms of the selected words, and you and I know that they are going to fail. I pray and hope that your child does not fail the exam. So they should work with instructions, they should read instructions. I'm going to relate a personal experience that I had in the year I wrote my SSCE, WAEC to be precise. It was in the biology exam, and the instruction was that it was the essay part of the exam, and the instruction was there are questions that were meant for non-Nigerian candidates, while there are others that were meant for Nigerian candidates. I did not read the instructions, I just proceeded to answering the questions, and it was later in the day while I was scrolling through the exam paper that I found out that I had answered the questions that were meant for non-Nigerian candidates. Yeah, I failed it. So you should ensure that your child listen to, read, and follow and work with instructions. If you have watched up to this part of the video, then I must commend you, because it means you truly want success for your child. And I pray and hope that your children achieve success in the forthcoming UTME. However, the tips I have just discussed with you, which are tips that will help them on their examination day, is only one of the chapters of my ebook titled How to Pass UTME Like a Genius. In fact, it is the last chapter. So everything I have discussed with you is called from the ebook, and I would advise that you get your child a copy of the ebook while they read it, go through it and implement it. And the book is going to teach them everything they need to know in order to achieve success in their UTME, in order to score 300 and above in their UTME and study their dream courses. In fact, inside the book, your children will find out to study and understand all the concepts that they have always found difficult, and they will also find inside the ebook how to get the JAMB syllabus, and it will also guide them on how to use it. And also the ebook will teach them how to get JAMB recommended tests and how to study them, to teach them how to study effectively every day. The ebook will teach them how to use their past questions correctly. It will also teach them whether they should attend a UTME coaching center or not. It will also teach them what they should know before they walk into the hall on their examination day. It will also teach them how to answer their questions like a genius genius on the day of their exams. And these are just a few amongst the numerous things that the ebook is going to teach your child. So if you truly desire success for your child in this forthcoming UTME, you should do well to get them a copy of this ebook for just a token of 5,000 naira only, and you can get this copy by clicking the link in the description of this video, or just click the link below or in the comment section, and you'll be taken to the page where you can pay a token of 5,000 naira and secure your child's future. Because if your child passes the forthcoming UTME, it means that they will have the chance to study their dream course, and it would have meant that their future is secured by their concerned parents. I hope that your child will find the book invaluable, and I hope that they will be able to read and implement everything that is contained in the ebook so that they can achieve success in the exam. See you on the next one.